I just finished the first draft of my debut fantasy novel, and yes, I bought myself a cake to celebrate. Completing the first draft was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I wanted to share some of the lessons I learned along the way. I know everybody says this, but you have to be okay with writing absolute garbage the first time around. Done is infinitely times better than perfect. 2. Your story will change, and that's okay. Your first draft solely exists so that it can teach you the story that you want to tell. The story that I initially thought I wanted to tell ended up being completely different than the one that I'm holding in my hands right now. 3. You can't wait around for inspiration to strike before you start writing. You have to make yourself sit down and write, even when you don't want to. Yes, this involves writing when you don't have the motivation to do so, and yes, that's a necessity for you to get the first draft done. 4. Finding a community of other writers that support you and cheer you along every step of the way makes writing infinitely more enjoyable, and I highly suggest trying to find a group like that for yourself. And 5, there will be days where you feel like you're not good enough, where writing feels like pulling teeth and you just want to give up. But just like no two people are the same, no two stories are the same. No one will ever be able to tell your story better than you. So don't give up, keep pushing through, and write that novel.
Just a reminder to all of my writers who are trying to finish their novel, there's no rush. The world isn't going anywhere, publishing isn't going anywhere, readers aren't going anywhere, books in general aren't going anywhere. You don't have to feel guilty because you're not pumping out books as fast as everybody else. You have a job, multiple jobs maybe, kids, places to be, people to see, doctor's appointments. Don't worry, you're exactly where you need to be. And if you need a cheerleader,
Cause I'm a real tough kid, I can handle it. They said, baby, gotta fake it till you make it, and I
like obliterating everything is iterated, renegade. I'm gonna make anybody who want it with the pin and frame. Don't nobody want it, but they're gonna get it anyway. I'm beginning to feel like I'm mentally ill until
Have you ever had a dream that you do?
I have a fun idea, babe. Maybe just stay inside. I know you're craving some fresh air.
Locked in a stalemate with the man was no. Rock in a hard place, it's battery control.
I started writing a book, my first one ever, and I told myself I have a word count to reach each week. Why was that so hard to say? And today is the last day of the week, so come write with me. We're starting chapter 3 today, and we need to hit 5,000 words by the end of today. Can't forget the essentials. The ideas are flowing. Ah! We are halfway there. Y'all, we did it! We hit 5,003 words. So I will be getting a head start on next week. Next week's goal is to hit 10,000 words. I'll keep you updated. Love you!
It's day 620 of writing a book, and the weather's really nice outside. And it's the end of summer. I don't know how many really nice days we're gonna have left, so I think I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. But I think maybe today swimming can count as writing. I just don't think we really have a choice in the matter, you know? That was productive. Okay, word count is still staying at 13, but I feel like I should give myself credit for the work I did today, so I'm gonna have a new category, and it's bones, and I definitely get 2 bones for today. Good job, me. See you tomorrow for day 621.
But I gotta be careful. Gotta watch what I say. Gotta hope it all goes away.
That was such a high. I don't know why anybody does drugs.
Here I am once again.
Hi writers, I'm a soon-to-be traditionally published author, and here are 3 things I wish I had known before starting my writing journey. For those of you who are new here, my name is Cass, and my debut novel comes out summer 2025 from Peachtree Teen. It's called Vesuvius, and it is a queer YA historical fantasy set in the final days of Pompeii, and you can add it on Goodreads now. Number 1, temper your expectations when it comes to the reactions of your non-writing family and friends. This was the hardest pill for me to swallow, but if they didn't care about your achievements before your book deal, having a book deal is not going to change their mind. I've learned to reduce the sting of that by surrounding myself with writing friends who I know I have a mutual support network with. Number 2, publishing moves slow until it moves all at once. You'll always be waiting, whether it's for beta reader feedback or querying replies or waiting on an edit letter or when you're on sub. Use that time to take mental health breaks and work on something new. Number 3, and this is the most important, be your own biggest fan. I'm so lucky to have a whole support group of very close writing friends, but that only came about in the last year and a half. And before that, I was mostly on my own. But what that taught me is that even though external validation feels amazing, at the end of the day, I need to love my book more than anyone else. Publishing is a hard industry to thrive in, but I want to join the other creators on this app in making it more transparent. So if you have any questions about the process of getting a book traditionally published, just let me know in the comments.
Novelist, this is everything you need to know about using point of view correctly in your next book. I'm a book editor. I work with hundreds of novelists. I recently shared a video about the top mistakes that I see fiction writers making in their novels, and head hopping point of view was on the top of my list. You all had a lot of thoughts and questions about that, so let's dive in. Even if an author doesn't know the terms, most people naturally write in third person limited, or third person with one deep character point of view. Although it's narrated from the outside, they do this, they do that, we have access to one person's mind, thoughts, usually the protagonist, and we kind of get to see their inner world. So head hopping happens when an author is in third person limited and they randomly bop over to someone else's mind for a short period of time to give new thoughts or new information that the protagonist doesn't have. Simply put, you can't do this. If you're in third person limited, stay in third person limited. Going to another point of view is messy and confusing and breaks up the flow of your book. Then the question becomes, what are my other options? We have dual point of view, multiple point of view, and omniscient point of view. Dual and multiple points of view can work really, really well. We see it done really well in crime and mystery and romance, where having multiple points of view and multiple sets of information can really enrich the story or add some suspense. So how do you make this work? First of all, you need to make sure that you're clearly setting off the different points of view with section or chapter breaks. The reader at all times should very clearly know who's speaking. Second, and this is a big mistake that I see authors making, each of the various characters that you're using their point of view must have distinct voices, distinct personality, tone, dialogue that sets them apart from the other characters. And finally, you need to be intentional about which points of view you're including and what scenes those different points of view narrate. Their option is third person omniscient. I hate the omniscient point of view, and I'll tell you why. Omniscient is writing in the third person where the narrator is all-knowing, kind of like a God's eye lens for the book. In omniscient, the narrator becomes its own character and can have thoughts, feelings, and make judgments about the world that they're observing. People like it because it's a very flexible storytelling style. They have access to every single character's mind. They have all the information, even information that characters might not know. Omniscient narrators are often making sweeping philosophical assessments and descriptions of the plot and the characters and the time period. The reason I hate it is that it can feel very distant and removed, and it only works for some styles of storytelling. So think like Middlemarch or War and Peace, Anna Karenina. These are written in third-person omniscient, kind of distant, removed narrators that make commentary about the time period that the story is in. So they're in omniscient for a very specific reason. It's not just like that so that they can have access to all of the characters' minds. Because of that, it's really hard to do omniscient well. You have to be in omniscient for a specific reason, and if you don't know what that reason is or you're not experienced at writing it, the story is just going to sound messy and disorganized and unfocused. All right, so from an experienced book editor, those are my hot takes on point of view. Let me know what questions you have, and of course, reach out if you need a book editor.